It's all over, and I'm getting as many feeds as I possibly can, likes regarding, and everybody's saying, well, you're such a daredevil.
Tourism contributes about 7 to 9%, depending on who you ask, to Zambia's GDP. For years, we've looked for another sector to rival or to equal the mining sector in Zambia. I've got a feeling that tourism is going to do just that. My conversation today is with Honorable Rodney Sikumba, the Minister of Tourism in Zambia. He's a fascinating man, marketer, turned public servant. I'm looking forward to hearing his insights on business, life, tourism. He's a man who understands the sector, having worked in the sector. And I think he's done a fantastic job so far. And the best is yet to come. Honorable Sikumba.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, thanks, Roy.
Such a pleasure to meet you. Thank you.
Great. Please have a seat.
I trust you're well.
I'm very well. Yourself?
I'm good. It's a very busy time for you.
It's extremely busy. I mean, we're just halfway into the quarter of the year, and as you know, we're getting into an election period, so we're super busy.
You're a man at the head of a very busy ministry.
Well, they call it the Ministry of Entertainment.
Ministry of Entertainment.
And then it's headed by the Minister of Enjoyment. I think we're fantastic.
I love that. You are a marketing man.
Mm-hmm.
How did the marketing man become a public servant? What's that link?
Prior to me being the pro marketer, as I'd like to call myself, I used to obviously work in the telecom business, the MNOs.
Yes.
I moved from the likes of Celtel, Airtel, through to Zambia until I left when I was only 35. But I needed to figure out what exactly to do in terms of keeping me busy, because I had already regarded myself as retired. And fast forward...
At 35?
At 35,
okay.
I quit corporate. I said, I'm going to look at what to do. So fast forward, I found my newfound love in tourism. And that in itself really required me to see how best I could market my business, market destination Zambia, and so forth. But what struck me was the very fact that the bureaucracy in government was actually eating me up. And there was so much plans, so much activities I wanted to do for my small little business. And then I asked around colleagues within the sector to find out exactly what some of the challenges that we were faced with. And my challenges were not any different from theirs. And that is where immediately I said, look, maybe, just maybe, I can add a voice to this, voices that I really want to get to government. And I sought office to chair the Livingstone Tourism Association, so that we can become advocacy for the association, which is private sector led, to be able to sell to government and say, look, this is what we want to do. But I can safely tell you we're hitting a brick wall most of the time. Most of our suggestions were not being heard. Proposals, corridors of office, of government were not as receptive as we thought they would.
Yeah.
Then I said, you know what, maybe let me get into government so that I can actually change a couple of things, which I strongly believe would actually be for the benefit of my small little business and indeed the general public sector, private sector as a whole. And yes, fast forward, I took the plunge. I stood as area member of parliament for Livingstone for the first time. I won very convincing votes. And on the 9th of September, that same year when I won, the president was gracious enough to appoint me as minister in charge of tourism. And that's where we are today.
What was your tourism business about?
So I set up a travel shop, and this travel shop,
agency,
like a travel agency, and this travel agency was purely premised around what I'd like to call I ship you in and then I ship you out. So my concept was purely to say, I'm going to have Royd. So Royd will say, okay, I want to go to, let's say, Livingstone as an example, where obviously I was born and bred. Okay, fine. So we'll literally just ask you to get to either the airport or indeed the bus stop. Or we'll ask you to say, okay, fine, if you're driving, if it's a self-drive, you get into the destination. Once you're there, if it's at the airport, we pick you up. We transfer you from the airport to our own accommodation, which is apartments that we have. From the apartments that we have, we feed you from there. From feeding you, then we also take you to other excursions. Could be the Victoria Falls, the Musotunya, it could be the National Park, the museum, and all other basic stuff that you have in that particular area. And if indeed you're traveling with a young family, what would potentially do if a parent such as yourself would want to go out in the night and then want to look for services of a house help, a nanny, for lack of a better term, we'll still also extend that to you so that you're able to access those facilities. And then once it's all said and done, then we take you back to the airport and ship you out of the destination. So that for us is something that we're working on. But on a more international space, we also make sure that we also facilitate for your air ticket. We also facilitate for your
money.
Thank you very much. We also facilitate for your visas and also the usual country. Thank you so much. Put hot milk on the side, please.
Maybe.
You can go ahead, please. And 2 sugars, if you don't mind.
So it's a full service arrangement.
It's a full service arrangement, and that's what we set up. So it mainly required us to ensure that our clients are basically pampered, handheld in wherever destination they are, be it in Zambia, be it in Africa, or indeed outside the continent of Africa. We had what I'd like to call agreements with airlines, agreements with hotels, agreements with restaurants in Zambia and outside Zambia that will be able to now give you extended discounts. Obviously for us is to making sure that the product that we offer you are affordable and obviously legit. And that's the kind of business that we're doing.
We have seen national branding campaigns. One that we can think about is Visit Rwanda, right? The successful campaign that has seen Rwanda place its logo on the Arsenal shirt. Zambia has one. The tagline is Zambia moves you. This is a rallying cry for every Zambian, local, international, something that we can all get behind. I feel like there's only one place to start before we even proceed further into the broader tourism sector. Brand Zambia. It's such a powerful concept, but I want to hear it from you. Give us the vision of Brand Zambia.
In essence, any government institution, private sector or otherwise, when you're talking about Zambia, that is what we need to see. When you're going to be switching on your ZNBC TV, the national broadcaster, you should be able to see Brand Zambia. Zambia moves you. Now, that in itself is what we have actually seen out there. We looked at other markets in Australia, in the US, in Rwanda, everywhere else, the UK. All those are some of the elements that we want to now put together so that we can have one consolidated brand.
So this is essentially like the way you've explained it, and even just thinking about it, it's so inspiring. It's essentially like one voice. It's essentially like a badge that every Zambian should wear.
Absolutely.
Whether you are in business, whether you are a trader, whether you are in IT, wherever you are, we are all now singing one mission, isn't it? Zambia moves.
It's one mission, and the tagline itself, it resonates so much with what we're doing. And I was actually joking with my colleague in the office. I say, have you ever bothered to actually understand the Toyota tagline? Toyota moves Zambia. And you know why? Because when you look around the room, on the roads, it's Toyota this, Toyota Wish, Toyota that, Toyota Auris, Toyota Hilux, Toyota Land Cruiser. So, and then we're going to talk about Zambia. What moves you in Zambia? It's our tourism, it's our mining, it's our agriculture, it's our energy, it's our manufacturing. All that in one bubble. You're now going to say, guys, now Zambia is ready for investment.
Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, said he needs 35 visas. Did you see that?
I saw that.
That he needs 35 visas to travel in Africa. And you're talking about these source markets, your Dubai, London, New York, right? That's where we're getting these people coming from. What's the big hurdle? Is it infrastructure? What type of planes can land at KKIA? So what do you see as the biggest hurdle?
I think, I'll tell you one thing. I think the biggest hurdle, which probably does not meet the eye, or maybe has not been shared with most of you, is what they call the fifth freedom. Now, the fifth freedom speaks to who flies in my airspace.
Okay.
So most of these African countries, unfortunately, have not signed what we call the BASA, the Bilateral Air Services Agreement.
Okay.
The classic example is the state visit by our colleagues from Ghana. John Mahama recently came into Zambia. I should have been wearing my fugu because I love the attire now. I don't know if the team told me that I was going to meet you, I was going to wear the fugus, and then look at you.
Yeah.
You dressed the part. But the highlight of the state visits from Ghana was that, one, we waived visas between Zambia and Ghana, so reciprocal arrangement. So Ghanaians don't require visas to enter Zambia, and neither do Zambians require visas.
So I can get up right now and go to Ghana?
Get up and go.
No issue.
No issue. The next best thing that we did was to sign the BASA, the Bilateral Air Services Agreement. So if ProFlight chooses to fly into Ghana today, they're most welcome. If Zambia Airways chooses to fly into Accra today, they're more than welcome, because now there's that agreement which now allows these airlines to either interconnect or sign what we call code share.
Yes.
Which obviously is something that would work. And that is what we need to see in other African countries.
Brilliant. I love that that aspect. And like you said, most of us don't really know the background or sort of some of these things about the airspaces. Zambia's tourism sector recorded 2.3 million visitors in 2025. In 2026, they've set an ambitious target of 2.5 million. But Minister Sikumba says this 2.5 million is not even ambitious enough. He thinks they could hit 3 million. The sector has opened up. In 2025, we hit 2.3 million. 2.3 million, yes. We've got a target in 2026 of 2.5 million.
Correct.
Travelers. How are we doing? This is now end of first quarter. We're approaching the end of first quarter. You think we'll hit that target? I'm
always very optimistic about my numbers, and there's no reason why the numbers should not even reach 3 million for 26. And because I realized that most of the bookings, the forward bookings that we got, most were indicating 26. Because now people know the destination, especially from 24 onwards. So people had already planned for the 25 holidays in 24. Now that they know about Zambia, so the 26 holidays are looking quite good. Now, why am I confident? I'm confident because we have pushed what we call business tourism, which is the MICE, meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. I can safely tell you that we have a gazillion meetings coming up.
Yeah, there's a lot of meetings.
There's a lot of meetings both in Lusaka, a lot of meetings in Livingstone.
And the Mulungushi International Conference Center has helped.
Absolutely.
In my opinion, we need another one.
And I think we should put it in Livingstone.
Yes.
Because it requires a lot of people, more seating space. I could tell you that in Livingstone, the maximum seating arrangement, the maximum room that we have can only sit up to 700, and this is theater style. And most of these conferences today are in the excess of 1,000, 1,005.
Yeah, meaning just to host a Davos type of.
Absolutely, and you need more accommodation, more facilities, more restaurants. You see, when people come to the destination, some of them don't even stay at the hotel. All they're just looking out for is to sit at a nice restaurant such as the Dining Enclave.
Government policy is only one part of the story. The bigger piece is capitalism and getting the private sector involved in the development of the tourism sector. The minister says Zambians need to work together, to put their heads together, to invest in the sector. And then what government will do is they'll support with policies, incentives, to make sure that the private sector, we the Zambians, can participate to build and to grow the sector. But you've got a lot of work to do, Minister. And I'll be honest with you, and while I have you here,
tell me.
Striking the balance between local and international tourism. Obviously, we've got the Yamu Local campaign. Most of us will go to Livingstone, Siavonga, And to be honest, I always joke that the Livingstone that we locals experience is not the same Livingstone that the foreigners experience, right? Because some of these things are just out of our reach. I mean, the micro flight is so and so dollars. I mean, the bungee jump you did is $120, $140. So my point, and I'm not sure if this really is what you can do as a ministry. Thank you very much. This looks very good. Striking that balance between private sector, letting the businesses do what they do, versus on a policy front. How do you increase the local participation? For example, for me, if I want to go to Lower Zambia, I can't pay $2,000 a night. Do you just leave it to them, the private sector guys, because they made the investment? How do more Zambians access that South Luangwa that we see in the tented camp, drinking a coffee? Are we just going to be subjected to Livingstone and Siavonga because they are more accessible to us? How can Zambians enter the real, plush Zambia that we see?
You know, I'm very happy that when you brought up this aspect, what struck me was the understanding that, yes, please, is that my French chess?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, what quickly struck me was the very fact that you have mentioned two very, very critical issues. Are you just going to let private sector to do this thing, or there has to be policy?
Because they've made the investment.
Now, I'll be very quick to mention that when we formed government, our manifesto is very, very clear. We said we're going to run what we would like to call a pro-private sector economy. And
bon appetit, Minister.
Oh yeah, please enjoy. Your breakfast looks nice. I don't know what is that. What do they call it?
Sunny side up.
Okay. All right. Super. Is this maple syrup or honey? What is it? Yeah, maple syrup.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
The Dining Enclave giving us this lovely breakfast.
Yeah, so the UPND says we need to be pro-private sector.
Yes.
And how best can you support private sector if you don't let the market forces be at play? The law of demand and supply. Now, all these places that you've just been talking about, Roy, are places that obviously have been built by private sector. And in their honest opinion, they say, look, I'm only going to build 10 chalets. Maximum number of guests I can have is 20, which is per person sharing. And then I'm going to market it to my colleagues in the bank. This is the kind of stuff that they like. And year in, year out, your colleagues in the bank are always going to your place, filling up the places, and at whatever price, $100 per person sharing. And things are running. Now, if you're running such a business, would you then come and say, no, but why are you charging 100? Can you reduce it to 50? I've got Roy, who's my client. He's happy with 100.
He's happy to pay.
He's happy to pay. And if I look at my margins, I'm able to run my business successfully.
Yes.
So, should government come and interfere to say, oh no, you need to cap your price for my locals at this much? No. All we are saying, from the government perspective, is, colleagues, there's this niche market that is there. Everybody wants to be in, let's say, Lower Zam. I'm now going to get locals to invest in Lower Zam so that it speaks to the clientele that you're looking out for. Most of these private sector people in these areas have got their specific clientele.
Yes.
And even if you budge to say, look, reduce the price, but why am I reducing the price? I have Roy who's willing to pay, willing buyer, willing seller.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's how it ends. So now going back to a place like Livingstone, which you use as an example.
Yes.
I have belabored on this matter, and I'm happy you brought it up again. And I'm just hoping that we'll now put it to rest. You see, Livingstone has a whole array of products. When I was younger, probably say when I was a teen, 18, 19, 20, when you go out on holiday or probably go out with friends, you don't even need to stay in a hotel. I mean, we used to backpack. You go into the cheapest place which you could possibly find. But guess what? Then you have the best activities within your budget Today, maybe times have changed. Our 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds, they want to stay in the Royal Livingstone. You know why? They want to pop that bottle, they wear the robe.
Social media.
I mean, it's got so much pressure with a few giraffes and impalas in the background. It's for the gram, X number of likes. So it's putting pressure on everybody else.
Yeah.
That facade is a bit of a mission for us, but it's very important that people actually know to say, look, in a place like Livingstone, there's a budget for everyone. Now, what are we doing as government? As government, we're just saying, look, guys, come on board. If you want to invest in the sector, we'll handhold you. Just tell us how much money you have. We don't want you to create substandard stuff. Again, the bulk of Zambians, unfortunately, they don't like partnering.
Yes.
It's important that you get partners. If you've got a piece of land
Yes.
somewhere, which is obviously maybe it's a river frontage and you want to do all these nice activities, partner with somebody who's got money. Your capital, your equity in that business is the land itself.
Yes. Yes.
And we've been encouraging people. I can tell you, we have a gazillion number of Zambians who've got vantage pieces of land. But guess what? When everybody goes to them to say, can we partner? I mean, the requests are ridiculous. We've seen it. I mean, I'm speaking from experience.
From experience, yes.
People just say, oh no, this thing can't happen. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Those ones who budge, unfortunately, this is where you find that they're just outrightly bought off. Anybody comes in, I'll come to you, Roy. I say, look, can we partner? Oh no, you give me a ridiculous price. The next thing, I know where it's how much the most. I just say, okay, fine, look, here's money on the table. All out. They're willing to grab it. And that's all this land that you're seeing, which is obviously owned by quote-unquote non-Zambians. That land used to be owned by Zambians.
By Zambians, yes.
So now, who are you going to blame? Is it the government who told the Zambians to say, sell it to the non-Zambians? No.
So your core minister, and I think what I'm taking out of it, which I guess is what even the president has been preaching, right, is as Zambians, we need equity.
Absolutely.
We should be willing to not take the money up front, and we should be able to partner.
And it's been rampant.
Yeah, we should be able to partner, we should be able to work hard, and we should be able to develop these places. How have you seen this shift in social media marketing impact the tourism sector in Zambia? And do you have any specific incentives or partnerships that you're thinking in terms of how are you going to use social media to really help boost the sector?
We're engaging both local influencers, we're engaging international influencers, those who are willing. Some of them we pay through our noses, others obviously, it's just to say, look, this is what I'm going to give back to Zambia.
Yeah.
Yes, a fantastic destination, but ultimately what we just need to do is just to facilitate their stake.
No, it's a brilliant strategy. One of the final things I want to talk about is sharing the cake. I know you're passionate about Livingstone, you come from Livingstone, but there's the north, where I've actually been privileged enough to travel all 10 provinces. How do we get more infrastructure in the north?
We as a ministry have actually realized that tourism in Zambia is not Livingstone, and Livingstone is not tourism. Livingstone is just part of the tourist capital. And why? Because the product there is almost mature. When I say almost mature, it hasn't reached its peak, so it's growing. We can do more. But even when we're trying to, for lack of a better term, grow the tourism products across the country, it also requires us to say, how best can we now generate more money from this golden egg, so that we take it to the other side.
So do you still think Livingstone is our golden egg?
Livingstone still remains the golden egg. And I'll tell you what.
Please.
And I'll tell you why. If you're going to talk about setting
Not
up...
South Luangwa, because I've heard South Luangwa is where you get to see the big cats.
Remember, I just mentioned something to you about these tented chalets.
Yes.
Most of the activities that you find there, the maximum occupancy you'll be talking about is probably 24.
Yeah.
And then if you go to Livingstone, you're talking about in the hundreds.
Still
Livingstone is still the golden egg. CapEx incentives in the tourism sector today, anything that you cannot locally source in Zambia, will you import it for duty-free? If you're in the tourism sector, if we can't make these maple syrup jars, import them from China. We don't charge you.
Yes.
Crockery, cutlery.
Yes.
We won't charge you. But if you're talking about towels, we produce towels here. If you're talking about tables,
Get them locally.
we can get them locally. And all that is in place. That's information available in the public domain.
Back in the day, humans and wildlife live together in a symbiotic, mutually beneficial relationship. Minister Sikumba has been an avid supporter of what he calls sustainable hunting, which is a scientific-based approach that both supports local communities as they get to enjoy a way of life that they have known, while returning investment into conservation efforts in the wildlife sector. Sustainable hunting could be a pathway to grow Zambia's tourism while taking care of local communities. And what you're saying about that whole tax issue is beneficial, because we saw Zimbabwe just introduced 15.5% VAT in the tourism sector, which previously zero rated. So it's good that at least you've highlighted some of those policy issues. The last thing I want to talk about on the tourism front is you've talked about sustainable hunting in the past, I believe. A bit of a controversial one. What's the big play around sustainable hunting? How do you think this would be beneficial? So obviously when people talk about, the blend between conservation, right, and obviously sustainable conservation anyway. So what's your play on the sustainable hunting front, and how do you see it benefiting the country?
Throw in science. So that's when the sustainability came in, where now we're saying, for this area, we do a count of the number of animals which are in there. Based on the number of animals which are in there, then we say, okay, fine. We know the gestation period of those animals, and this is how they grow. Then we'll be able to say, for this particular year, you can only kill 1 elephant, as an example,
yes,
1 lion, 5 buffaloes, 1 hippo, and the like.
But for something like the antelopes, those you can...
No, it's still, even okay, that, it's a science.
Yes.
For the antelopes, you should be able to know, say, this is how many there are. But obviously,
and then you give a quota.
And then we give the quota. And that's exactly the name that we use.
Yes.
So we give you a quota. So you utilize that quota, and only that quota. So we know to say, look, if you remove that quota, it will not affect the general population of that species. Now, once you harvest that quota to an individual who's paying for it, 50% of that money that they generate goes to that community that was displaced. And that's why we're calling it sustainable utilization. And remember, so the outfitters, which is the professional hunters,
yes,
they don't actually go for the meat. They go for the trophy itself. Because they don't eat that meat. Yes. Guess where that meat goes to? It goes to that same community that was displaced.
Okay. What's the benefit of people hunting in GMAs versus the national park?
Both the national park and the GMA are what we call protected areas. A national park is restricted. You cannot hunt in there.
Okay.
And that's the more reason why. I'm happy that you've even asked that. That's the more reason why. All this, the so-called photographic tourism,
yes,
should only be developed in the national park.
Okay.
Why? Because you'll have more sightings. Your sightings in the national park are 100%. As opposed to the GMA, where you probably have to go kilometers looking for animals. And that's how it is. So the GMA in itself is merely a buffer of the national park. So if there's any form of dispersal, it now allows controlled harvesting of wildlife in the GMA. And if it's out of the GMA, then the animal is straying. And the animals are very smart. They know where they are. Funny enough, I've been on a hunting expedition before to just understand what goes on. You'll actually find that there are certain animals which know that when they just cross a river or a certain designation, they know to say that place, there's guns. I think a whole wrap-up to this conversation is, as you rightly put it, Zambia is open for business. There's no better time to invest in Zambia than now. Those of you who've actually been on the fence with regards to investing in Zambia, it's the only country in sub-Saharan Africa today that has no, what I'd like to call, exchange rate controls. You can invest in this country with relative ease. You can externalize your profits. For as long as you pay your taxes, you can take it away. You can't find it anywhere else in sub-Saharan Africa, that I will tell you. And more so, we have every opportunity for you now to actually invest in a business that will give you the right returns. Today, our locals and otherwise, for some reason, they have not really participated in the tourism sector. And I think it's because they haven't been given sufficient information to invest in the country. But I think I'll probably end by saying Zambia is one destination that I strongly believe can host as many tourists as you possibly can. 752,000 square kilometers is a big enough area to build.
It's massive.
It's massive. We are talking about 40 million hectares of arable land. We are talking about mines.
When are we hosting AFCON, Minister?
Well, I think AFCON always depends on when you can really build up infrastructure. And
we need to bid for that. It's been a pleasure to speak with you.
Pleasure is mine. But I always want to say people and tell them, say, look, Zambia is the best kept secret.
But it's no longer a secret. People are learning about it. And congratulations on the good work you're doing for that.
Fantastic. And thank you very much and for joining me for breakfast.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed your sunny side up.
I loved it. I see you had no issues there.
Oh no, definitely not. I love my French toast any day.
Yeah, no, it looked good. And it's been a brilliant conversation hosted by the Dining Enclave in Osaka.
Yeah, beautiful restaurant. This is my second time coming here. The other time I came here was for dinner.
It's incredible how Arcades has changed.
It has transformed. Again, these are our locals, ordinarily, who have invested in the sector. We have handheld them, and I think they're doing fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you so much.
I've just had a fascinating conversation with perhaps one of the busiest ministers in the Zambian government, Hon Rodney Sikumba. We had a lot to talk about, from policy to government intervention. But perhaps the biggest rallying cry from his side was, Zambia belongs to Zambians. I'm speaking to him at the back of the Zambia Moves You brand campaign, the Brand Zambia campaign. And his main takeaway for us is that Zambia is ours. We should partner, we should work together to build our tourism industry. When we do that, who knows where the future will be?